Welcome back to our show once again.
Pay attention.
You
said you wanted respect and subservience, and then you walk away.
I want to make sure my car was still there.
Just before he asks whether we will show him respect today, if you have to ask for respect, perhaps that's a step in the wrong direction right there.
Who are you?
Terry David Mulligan joining us, broadcaster and wine expert, and of course, one fine-looking specimen. How are you, Mully?
I will call you on that wine expert thing. I think a wine expert is Gismondi and those guys. They spent their lifetime in it. I'm just sort of playing in the pool.
You're a fan
in
of
the shell
wine.
of it.
Okay, how about broadcaster and well-known drinker?
Thank you.
is that better?
So where have you been drinking? You've been SFO?
Actually, I was in San Francisco for the 20th ZAP convention, Zinfandel Appreciation and Producers. They're Zin heads.
Zin heads, is that what we call them? It
is the largest single varietal gathering in the wine world. It's 10,000 people in 2 buildings at Fort Mason, right on the water, just by the Golden Gate Bridge. 10,000 people,
so
300 wines.
However did you manage to try 200 wines, Mulligan?
There's a media tent.
And you looked slightly haunted
and
when
you can pour to your heart's content. I went A, B, C, and I sort of lingered at C and never. It was
the rest is like.
Well, I was doing interviews as well, you have to be careful.
So what is it with Zinfandel? I mean, obviously California, this is a huge grape for them.
Exactly, but the thing is, this is the original grape. When California was settled, this was the first grape that went in the ground, and for years it was the only grape grown, and then Cab Sav came along and just blew it out of the water. Yeah. And so they started ZAP 20 years ago because they felt that they weren't getting any respect for their varietal and their grape.
Much like you feel like no respect for the Zinfandel, no respect for the Mulligan.
Is an amazing grape, though, because it can do a lot of different things. It can be a huge wine, it can be a very subtle wine.
And just to prove the point, on the Thursday night, they started with a pairing session that went on through 3 rooms. There were 50 chefs, all cooking something different to match the Zin that they had. And I was just saying that you got the barbecue and all the big heavy stuff, risotto made with Zinfandel. On this end, cupcakes. The icing was made from a reduced Zinfandel.
That sounds delicious.
I thought, no, that can't work. It was phenomenal. And the guy who did it was from Montreal.
Let's look at some pretty pictures, and maybe you can educate
not
us
necessarily
a little
pretty,
bit.
but
you know what we see in the Okanagan? We see rows and rows and rows of these beautiful flowering grapes. This, in fact, is a Zinfandel field. Those vines are 100 years old or more.
Ants.
And they're what they call head trained. They cut them back, and just the top of that plant will give you your grapes. And when you look at them, it looks like a horror story. It looks like a war field. And that is in fact Zinfandel, which is what makes it so special.
Okay, let's look at the next picture and tell us what this is.
Well, that's when it's all flowered and you got your grapes hanging down. Pretty.
So really low yield, but really
very
big
low
grapes
yield. And all of those fields, actually, many of those fields were completely forgotten, and things grew around them, and they became junkyards and all that stuff. And so they have a heritage project where they're reclaiming all of the old original 100, 120, 130 year old.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing project. And then they're taking the clonal cuttings from that, and they're starting to grow grapes from those old plants, and they're going to bottle it as heritage wine.
Okay, let's look at the next picture. What's this?
Oh, this is pretty.
Well, this is Tierra. This is what I'm going to pour for you today.
Okay.
This is Sonoma County Zin, Dry Creek. The owner is Dan Donahoe, and Dan's grandmother was childhood friends with Julia Child.
Oh, really?
And Julia had a big influence on Dan's wines. Very easy drinking. So some of them will be like your Barolo, will be like take the top of your head off.
Yeah, rip it off.
This is a mid-range Zin, which means it's perfect for food, any kind of food at all. As a matter of fact, in chicken mole sauce from Mexican food, any of the Italian dishes that you want. What are you laughing at?
Do you remember they asked about? Mole.
You said he'd be like that.
I know. I think you already dipped into the Zin.
So this is beautiful. This is from Dry Creek, which is one of the 25 appellations that they grow Zin in. Jammy on the nose.
Jammy on the nose.
I'm sure you've already
wine
noticed
people
that.
and your language. What do you mean when you're telling me it's jammy on the nose?
It smells like jam, like strawberry raspberry jam.
Yeah, even maybe a
and
little
spices,
cherry in there.
coffee, right? Underwear. Coffee notes, lots of berry fruit, right in the middle.
Okay, maybe a thong.
Jammy like your underwear.
Now, here's the deal that you should know. This is what you should know.
Mulligan, it went up my nose.
When this first was made in California 100 years ago, and even 50 years ago, they called it Dago Red because it was Italian. It came from Puglia.
It's a lovely
It was
name.
Primitivo. But originally, this wine came from Croatia. This is a Croatian wine. It's unbelievable.
It really is.
And they've done all the history on it. It's the same DNA, but it's a different plant.
Lovely.
So this is not so much for sipping here with you and I. This is for food. This is perfect for food. All right?
Yeah. Well, and I love that they know the history of a lot of these too.
Oh,
like
and that's what they're doing now. The UC Davis, they're tracing it back and they're preserving all of the old plants. This, by the way, this tiara, just for you who'd like to know, it's $31 thereabouts.
Not bad.
They're serving it by the glass at the Fairmont Pacific Rim if you want, or the Blue Water. You go down and
like the Blue Water.
try by the glass.
Nice.
So what else is going on with you in Tasting Room Radio and stuff?
By the way,
what?
Joel Peterson, I was doing my radio show, and Joel Peterson, the guy who makes Ravenswood, he started with 327 cases. He now makes 800,000 cases of Zinfandel.
Really?
Ravenswood. Yeah, I just want to.
That's good.
Sorry, your question was?
Sorry, who are you?
Tasting Room Radio. What's going on?
What's happening with the radio show? What's going on? Where are you going?
I continue to travel and do shows and interviews and stuff and talk to people, and I have an insatiable appetite for finding out why people are attracted to wine, why they reinvent themselves. I talked to Tom Seaver, the pitcher this morning, the Hall of Fame pitcher. He's got his own winery down on Diamond. Yeah.
What baseball player doesn't now?
No,
right?
but there's no tours, there's no tasting room. He makes 600 cases, and he lets somebody else grow it. And his buzz is to walk with his 3 labs through that vineyard at 7 o'clock in the morning as the sun comes up.
And you're hosting the Golden Plate Awards as well?
Well, the gold medal plates in Kelowna is February 17 through 19.
Nice.
And you're on your way
the
to
8 top chefs in the country.
You're on your way to Ucluelet?
Yes, I am.
What
I'm
are you
going to
doing there?
Black Rock. I'm going to be eating and drinking.
Okay.
And talking to the chefs there and just getting a sense of what's going on in Tofino Yuki.
So eating, drinking, that's what you do?
That's pretty much what I do, much like what you guys do.
Pretty much.
What do you think? You like it? You like that jammy note?
He's been quiet
Jammy
for
Gaunch.
3 minutes. Jammy Gaunch note on that one is a hit, people.
That is a
Thank
lovely
you,
one.
Terry David Mulligan. You can go to tastingroomradio.com.
By the way, if you want to look at it, there's a Zap app. Go find the Zap app. It's really cool.
I would like it if you'd rub my lower back as well, please.
These Zinfandels.
Thank you. Here, let's all play.
No, I'm not.
Mulligan,
I'm not playing
I'm
this
missing
game. This is
you.
awkward. We're going to take a quick break.